Hey everybody, this is Nick Morrell with Audio Video Export. It's a pleasure to introduce today an awesome group of people that we've got with us from the Harman Luxury Group, as well as South American Sales, who is the rep company for Harman Professional or Harman Luxury. It's a separate division, although we also have Harman Professional, depending on the territory. So feel free to inquire about that. So that means that we've got the full complement of Harman line products, Pro and Resi luxury lines. We're really excited to have Davis Fusco of South American Sales, as well as Antonio Legorreta, excuse me if I mispronounced your name, and as always, Gabby Arango of Harman, who's in charge of the entire territory. So we're really excited about having you all with us today. Just so you guys know, there is a handout here of a copy of the presentation, so feel free to download that handout. That's for you to be able to have, keep, hold, love, do whatever with it that you need to. And as always, there's a question box. So if you've got a question, feel free to answer or put whatever question you've got there. If we don't get to the question within the presentation, then we will have time for Q&A at the very end. We're excited again, and without any further delay, Antonio, thanks for being with us, and she's all yours.
Thank you. Well, let's start it with the luxury high-end audio in home 2020. Well, if we can see what defines a luxury product. There is so many concepts around that the luxury, as Coco Chanel said, when all your requirements are complete at setup, the luxury is a need also. So probably the luxury product is expensive. Not so many people could reach this kind of products because it's so costly sometimes for what you pay for. Exclusivity. There are so many brands that it's not so available in the commercial market that is usually find and also accept certain brands as best knowledge, but in this case, sometimes this kind of brands is not so well recognized in all the commercial markets that is currently on the mainstream. They are also rare. This kind of products is not so frequently to see around, and sometimes it's so close the distribution that in not so many places are available, for example. The symbol is around that. Also, they get a certain mysticism about the product that if you get this kind of products, it's like a pedigree. It's quite different. It's not equal that you find in the commercial circuits, for example. The workmanship, it's probably so painful for you that you are trying to manufacture certain products that usually is done by craftsmen also. And not in this case, it has a particular feature that is not so currently in a long chain product that you currently have in the commercial markets. The aesthetics, it's quite different. It's, for example, use fine materials, fine finish that it feels so confidently that not so common in most of the products. So at the end is the extraordinariness that you get in a luxury products. It's quite different among them. Of course, what is luxury? It's about the watch. It's not the same that you are using a Rolex watch instead, for example, a Citizen or Timex. You feel different, but there, in this case, this kind of watches gives you the hours, gives you the minutes at the same time, but it's not the same experience that you are using, for example, wearing a Rolex in this case. Luxury cars and sports car, obviously. If you want the performance and also the view that it's quite different among all the people is by using, for example, Italian brands in this case. Jewelry, of course, diamonds are forever. It's not so frequently to see just in exclusive events. Yacht, cars also. And if you want doing, for example, traveling around the world, in this case in Africa, not so many people could afford that kind of tours. And now, what defines the high-end product? Well, it's expensive, not so frequently. Sometimes, so many people catalogs that the high-end product is most expensive. Not so many times. Of course, you can find, for example, a turntable that costs more than 100 grands. It's quite expensive, probably, but it's not a necessary brand label that you put on a high-end product. Status. Not so many people who buy a high-end product, it's a music lover. Sometimes it's just for, it's a manner of showing, displaying something that is so costly and different that nobody owns in their home. Of course, the sound, the performance that you are expecting in a high-end product is that you get the best performance, the best sound, the punch that you are requiring, for example, in a heavy metal music, or the microdynamics in a full orchestra playing classical music. Of course, it have to be understandable performance in sound. Simplicity. Most of the commercial products are so complicated that so many people it feels certain kind of fear about using it. In the high-end product, for example, you can find the turn off button, the, the volume, and the input selector, and that's it. You don't need any artifacts or fancy features that you are not getting about the performance of the equipment. Technology. Most of these equipments are using the best of the best technologies, for example, from the aerospace industry, materials, by the way, fiber carbon, that not so many countries is manufactured in a way that you can get so quite different performance constructing cabinets, for example, from fiber carbon, or beryllium that we are following on the next slides about using on high frequency units. The state of art. In this case, the product looks so beautiful, so powerful, so beauty that you can believe that it has a useful feature, for example, playing music. And at the end, the extraordinariness that you are expecting for this kind of products. But what is your option? Two or multi-channel? Of course, we have the right product for each market. If you are a stereo lover that you are expecting, for example, with this kind of loudspeakers from JBL, the Everest project, and as a couple, the power amplifier number 53, and as a preamp just for playing analog music, you can choose a full stereo system. But if you love videos, movies, concerts, of course, we have the right product in order to give you the best performance that you are expecting, that you end user are expecting and asking for you. So, introducing the Arcam. Arcam is a British brand that has integrated amps just for stereo delight. In this case, the SA30. There are three options in these feature amplifiers that you get all the necessary control, power, and connectivity that you are expecting for a stereo system. But if you prefer to do a home cinema, of course, on the HDA series, you have AV processors like the AV40 that you can obtain, for example, surround sound and also immersive sound. If you are hearing about Atmos or 3D, DTX-X, this kind of AV processors has all the features that you are expecting for this kind of experience, immersive experience. And of course, we have the power amplifiers in order to get the best performance in power, separate units, separate chassis. This kind of products separates you from the commercial devices such as the AV processors, AV receivers that so frequently you lack all the connectivity, the power that you are expecting, for example, using separate components. Of course, what we are trying is to bring music and movies to life. What a simple thing that I want to stream music, for example, from my tablet or my phone, my smartphone, to a simple equipment. There is no fear about hearing and giving all the listening pleasure that you are expecting for this kind of products. And what about multi-channel? JBL Synthesis is the answer. JBL Synthesis includes an integral home theater solution. You have the AV processors that you need, also the DSP in order to get the best performance from your loudspeakers and also for the venue and compensate all the problems that probably has your home cinema venue. Power amplifiers, of course, we have plenty of power in these power amplifiers. And for example, in this model, you have 300 watts per 8 channels or 600 watts in 4 channels in any configuration that you want to do in your home cinema. And of course, one of the most powerful tools that we have in JBL Synthesis is Harman software calibration. Arcos. Arcos is a complete set of tools that allows you to hearing the best performance in your venue, not just in the seat on the people that pays for the cinema. It has the performance that completely get homogeneous sound in all the area among the seats. Of course, we have the standalones, in this case, the DD76000 Everest project, but if you don't want to see any loudspeakers and should be all clean in your room, of course, you can have all the choices in ceiling or in wall solutions for you. You don't fear that you can get the best performance from a pro cinema, but in your home. There are so many speakers according to your project for your home. If you choose a glamorous finish, for example, or vintage appearance, of course, you can choose a JBL product that fits to you if you want to hide, for example, with the central image that we saw. Lexicon. Lexicon is a very nice brand that, for example, in this case features the DD8. It's a multiple channel power amplifier with 125 watts per channel, 8 channels, but it's slim chassis. It has so many features that sometimes so many people ask me, what is the difference among the Pro product if you are using the DDA for a home audio distribution? Well, for example, we have unbalanced inputs, volume control for each channel, and also certain features that is not so frequently to see in a pro power amplifier. For example, a signal sensing when you are getting the best performance for your tunes, for your melodies, it turns on when the signal sensing detects music in one of their inputs. Or if you are using a 12-volt trigger, you can switch, turn on or turn off on the presence of this voltage. It's amazing that this power amplifier with 125 watts, it's so cool. You can stack, for example, 5 amplifiers at the top with no problem about cooling them. One unit rack that is not consuming all the valuable space that you have in your rack. If you want to choose this power amplifier, for example, you can use it for 4 zones with 2 pairs of speakers in each zone. In this case, for example, kitchen, the living room, dining room, or the family room. With Revel in-ceiling loudspeakers, you can have a nice amplification, plenty of power, and of course, with the details that you are expecting about a high-end product. So, instead of using small amplifiers that run out the power and you don't feel enough detail punch that you are expecting for your music, the DDA or the DDA plus the digital version from this amplifier, you can get the best for your audio distribution in home. And what about Mark Levinson? Mark Levinson is one of the brands that the high-end market has the reputation and remarkable sound that so many lovers of the high-end products are expecting for this brand. With the 500 series products, you have plenty of options such as the 585. It's an integrated amplifier with analog and digital inputs, 200 watt per channel. And there is an option that is the 585.5 that includes the phono preamp necessary in order to connect your turntable. This phono preamp has the features about using, for example, a moving coil or moving magnet pickup cartridge that you prefer. With the 526, you have the best of both worlds, analog and digital inputs, and also includes the phono preamp. But if you are only loyal with analog inputs, you can choose the 523 as a preamp. The option of choosing this kind of preamps is to get the best performance, the transparency, the signal, the direct signal path that you are expecting, and not degrading any kind of musical signals that you are connecting in this kind of preamps. And of course, we have the most powerful power amplifiers that you can find in the market. For example, the 536 is a 400 watts mono-aural amplifier. What does it mean? That you need 2 units in order to get, for example, stereo sound. But if you want to choose an stereo amplifier, the 34 is a right option with 250 watts per channel. It names dual monorail because it's like a mirror. Each channel is identical, but separate power supplies and separate circuits in order to get the best performance in channel separation. And what about the 519 digital audio player, most commonly as a streamer? Well, this streamer gives you the best performance if you are using Tidal, Cubase, or Spotify, for example, or Deezer includes. It has a digital analog converter also in order to get, for example, certain digital signals that you are trying to connect with this equipment. Also, you can use it as a preamp if you want to do. It's a right option for it. And at the end, but not the least, is the 515 turntable. You can choose with phono cartridge included or not. This is a marvelous turntable. All this equipment has the best heresy that you are expecting for Mark Levinson in the 500 series. But we have new products introduction also. The 5000 series, you can afford, for example, for the 500 series, you can get options in power amp, streamer, integrated amp, and turntable also. This could be the, I don't want to see it as an entry level, but if you are expecting the performance of Mark Levinson, but you don't have a wallet with so many notes in it, well, this is the right option, and you are getting the best step choosing the 5000 series. Of course, we have this kind of example, for example, in a stereo room with 2 power amplifiers, streamer, turntable, preamp, and a couple of JBL loudspeakers. Of course, you can do, for example, Revel and Mark Levinson systems. This is a right combinations with the new performance Beryllium B series. Revel is one of the most finest loudspeaker that you get with the right price also. You don't have to spend so many tons of money in order to get the best performance. Also, so many people are complaining that they don't want to see the loudspeakers and try to hide it, but not getting the best performance that they are expecting for. Well, if you are choosing floor standings and bookshelf loudspeakers, I'm so confident that you are getting the best sound that your money pays for it. And also for the appearance and the looks could be white finish, black, or walnut if you are choosing something organic in your home. The Performa 228B is a great performance loudspeakers. It was compared with one of the top of the Revel speakers, the Ultima 2 Salon 2. It was amazing the response that the stereophile do about these loudspeakers. As I said, it claims a lot of awards that these loudspeakers could be most costly, but the performance in sound is amazing. The details that you can hear, for example, from the Beryllium Dome tweeter is really awesome. But Don't forget that if you are looking for the bass in punch, the response balance, you can get it from these loudspeakers. And sure, nothing that see my whole equipment that is installed in my home with a couple of white finished loudspeakers, floor standing, an integrate amplifier that you connect anything that you want to, and also the streamer, the digital audio player. It's amazing that you get the sound of this kind of solution. Okay, but what's holding us back? Why we are not taking approach about the market? For so many dealers is trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Nothing so complicated that you try to fit something that so many people ask that is not the expectations that I want to receive about certain offer, solution, or project. Also, so many people are too focused on products. Products, not for the experience that you want to obtain. Sometimes it's an aura around the products, but if you are enjoying, you are delighted about the sound that you are getting, or it's a frustrating experience when you turn your system. And also could be too focused on the past. I know so many people, well, are so confident about the old technologies, but why be insisting that all the old things are better than the nowadays products? So the world that we see ourselves, it has changed. In what manner? How we go to the market today? Well, you can go and buy in a traditional hi-fi shops, if they are open, of course, or specialty retailers, as this concept that you better know for Best Buy. But if we are in the lockdown, probably we could choose and select online e-tailers. Just a few. It's not the whole experience, but it's secure about buying the products in this way. But probably it's not so exciting to do that kind of things. So in the new normal, virtual is the new reality. Of course, Steve Jobs know it. And the balance of live and pre-recorded videos, it's more enjoyable. So if we want to bring this kind of experience, we can practice using a lot of techniques in order to get the attention from our brands. And of course, the first opportunity to share branding, yes. So many young people are buying vinyl records or trying, instead of using Spotify, subscribing in another streaming platforms such as Tidal or Kubos. So the experience is there, but you have to taste it in order to get the satisfaction that is quite an experience different. What is the market of tomorrow? Probably the high-end departmental stores that you are visiting, you are personally attended, of course, and it's a quite different experience when you are visiting, for example, a standard departmental store. Pop-up stores also. The branding of Chanel, for example, it's so exclusive, expensive, of course, but it's another experience about that. And why don't you want to experience in another kind of events? Sometimes, and I said to Davis, remember, for example, in Japan, and you are getting in a sushi restaurant, probably they have a couple of JBL monitors, professional monitors, connected with Mark Levinson amplification.
What?
Yes, it's so quite the experience, not just for the food, it's the experience around the restaurant that is quite different among the other venues. Thank you. We're finished.
Awesome. Thank you
Antonio.
so much, Antonio. That's a great presentation. It looks like you answered all the questions, but if there are any other additional questions by any of our attendees, please feel free to drop that in, and we're here, and we'll hang out for a little bit. And
Okay.
if not, then thank you guys so much.